the Supreme Court found and held that A, the Commission failed to electronically transmit the statutory forms 34As and 34Bs as required by Section 39(1)(c) of the Elections Act. The court accepted the petitioner's claims that the Commission's IT system was infiltrated and compromised, and the data therein interfered with, or IEBC officials themselves interfered with the data, or simply refused to accept that it had bungled the whole transmission system and were unable to verify the data. This being the only logical reason, the interlocutory orders for audit and access thereto were frustrated by the Commission. C. While among the 11,000 polling stations the Commission claimed were off the 3G and 4G ranges were in Bomet, Bungoma, Busia, Homa Bay, Kajiado, Kericho, Kiambu, Kisumu, Kisii, Kirinyaga, Nyeri, Siaya and Vihiga counties. Most parts of these counties have fairly good road network and infrastructure that it will take a short time for the presiding officers to travel to vantage points from where they would electronically transmit the results. D. The Commission had known the areas where network is weak or totally lacking beforehand and should have made provision for alternative transmission. In one of its press briefings before the elections, the Commission had assured the country that it had carefully considered every conceivable eventuality regarding the issue of electronic transmission of the presidential election results and categorically stated that the technology was not going to fail. The Commission had engaged 3 internet service providers to deal with any network challenges. E. The Commission had conscientiously disobeyed the order of scrutiny, which was a golden opportunity for the Commission to place before court evidence to debunk the petitioner's claims of hacking. By denying access to 2 critical areas of their servers, its logs which would have proved or disproved the petitioner's claim of hacking into the system and altering the presidential election results, and its servers with forms 34As and 34Bs electronically transmitted from polling stations and constituent tallying centers. F. If the Commission had nothing to hide, even before the order was made, it would have itself readily provided access to its ICT logs and servers to disprove the petitioner's claims. And you may recall the IEBC lawyer Paul Mwite had readily agreed to our request until Uhuru's lawyers objected. These blatant illegalities and irregularities were not without motive. It's inconceivable that an election body would falsify 80 out of 290 constituents tallies, that is 27.5%, for the sake of it. The meaning of the Supreme Court decision is that the so-called numbers claimed by Uhuru Kenyatta are fraudulent. The election was not shambolic, it was rigged for Uhuru Kenyatta. Uhuru Kenyatta lost the election, it stands to reason that we won it. The IEBC has refused, neglected, or failed to put in place mechanisms to correct these illegalities and irregularities. We deem that the fresh election ordered by the Supreme Court cannot therefore be held, allowing the candidature of Raila Amolo Odinga and Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka to lend credence to the election now scheduled is to participate in an illegality.
Thank you. I take up on the position of bad faith on the IEBC. For over 5 weeks, the Commission has engaged us in a ping-pong game, well knowing that they had no intention